And cue.
Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
You can either talk in the Crystal program.
I am the one and only Chris Todd.
You can either talk in the Crystal program.
Broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment.
The VCR and the DVD, there was a night of black back in 1970. We didn't know about the World Wide Web, was a whole different game being played back when I was a kid. Wanna get down in a cool way, picture yourself on a beautiful day. Big bell bottoms and groove along here, just walking in style with a party book and MP3 play. You can listen to the music on the Crystal program. You can hear the music on the Crystal program.
This is the Chris Top Program.
And I'm the one and only Chris Top, broadcasting live from Customs House Museum, downtown Clarksville, Tennessee, Riverfest 2015. What are you reading?
Oh, sup?
So what do you do?
I just totally closed the book. It was something about elephants or how they're worried
Yeah.
about elephants, something like that.
Yeah? There's nothing wrong with some good elephant literature, I think. Yeah.
I was totally like zoned out. I was
Well, yeah,
like,
okay.
We're live.
I was curious. I didn't know what you were. I wanted to know what you were reading.
Oh, I'll have to find it again.
So we've gotten some cool books today, not just CDs and other stuff. We got some cool books,
We sure
and
did.
they're autographed too.
I know. It makes me feel really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, we told them
it's-
verbatim what to say, but I mean, still, it makes us feel cool.
It's called Fault.
Fault.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you liking it? Are you digging it?
I am digging it. I should probably put it away since we're live on air.
Right.
but-
So Andrea Spofford wrote that. Andrea, how are you
Yes.
doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. It's so good to have you guys here today.
Yeah.
I feel better about myself when I have like talented people around me. Mm-hmm. And they say you should do that when you want to improve yourself. You should have like people that are really super talented surrounding you.
Yeah.
So I should walk out here today and I should just like feel like a machine. I think.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
a boss.
We can all just kind of like
Huddle.
Rub off
Yeah,
of
like-
each other.
pet you a little bit.
Let's do it.
You miss Lydia. Lydia should have just patted your back.
Can you pat my head or rub my forehead or something? Okay, so you've written. Is this your first book? It's called The Pine Effect.
Yes, this is my first full-length book.
Okay, and it's a book of poems.
Yes.
A book of poetry. Okay, and how many poems are in this book?
I have to look at the page count.
Yeah,
There are 74 pages.
so is that 74
this-
poems, or does some of them take up more than one page, or what?
A few
looks
are
like a
2
couple.
pages
Yeah.
long. Yeah, but it's in the high 60s range of poems. That's kind of what makes a full-length book separate or different from a chapbook. I have 2 chapbooks. Also, chapbooks are just shorter books. They're between 15 to 30 pages long.
Okay, and that's the only difference between a chapbook and a regular book.
Basically, some chapbooks are thematically linked. I think that was sort of the goal when chapbooks first started, but it just sort of depends on the writer.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you set out to write a book of poetry, or do you just start writing poems one day and then decide, well, I need to just put them all in a book?
I start writing poems one day and then put them all in a book, usually.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's how this one came to be. My one of my chapbooks is actually about Alaska, and that one is themed. And that one I did sort of decide, okay, I'd like to write poems just about one particular place and see where I can take them.
I'm assuming you must have lived in Alaska for a while.
I have visited Alaska
Okay.
numerous times. My husband actually lives in Alaska for 6 months of the year, and so I spend summers and winter break there with him.
Okay, so you spend summers in Alaska. Oh, well, I guess it's beautiful, probably. I guess
It
in the
is.
summer.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah, what's the average temp in the summertime where you go?
So he lives in Kotzebue, Alaska, which is northwestern Alaska, above the Arctic Circle. It'll be about 50 to 60s during the summertime. 70 is a really nice day. Doesn't get a lot cooler than 50s, but can definitely. I mean,
Sure.
it's Alaska, weather changes super fast. He called me 2 days ago. He's in the field right now doing research. He's an archaeologist. I always end up talking about him whenever I'm being interviewed about my stuff. I'm like, oh, he has this really cool job. But so he was in the field a couple days ago, and he called me and said it's 17 degrees outside. So it's not technically summer anymore. It's actually fall going into winter now.
Ooh, I don't know if I could take it.
Yeah, 17 degrees is a little bit.
Yeah, it's
a little bit
for
much.
September, right?
Sure.
Beginning of September.
It's only going to get colder.
So when you go and visit, it's pretty much just jacket, blue jeans kind of weather. Yeah.
Yep. And then I go up in the wintertime also, or have for the past couple winters.
Is that like an adventure when you go in the wintertime?
I think it is, but I can say that because I haven't had to live above the Arctic Circle for an entire winter, so I can say it's an adventure.
Yeah. Do you miss home when you go there, or are you ready to come back?
I don't stay long enough again in the winter to really feel like seasonal affective disorder or be sad that it's negative 20-something, 30-something, 40-something degrees outside.
Oh my gosh!
I get happy when it's cold.
Yeah, I like cold too. So,
but then February and January comes around and I'm like, I'm kind of done. I'm ready for spring.
Right? So I'm in Alaska, and then I come back here and I can't go anywhere because everything's shut down and we don't have snowplows. So yeah. So no, I'm not there quite long enough to get sick of the snow.
Now, okay, so let's talk about, you won't talk about your husband the whole time. We'll talk about you. So you are actually a teacher, a college professor, teacher at Austin P.
Yep.
Okay, so what kind of classes do you teach?
I teach our creative writing classes. I teach our poetry classes. I teach some of our other English classes too, like our composition courses and our world literature classes. But for the most part, I teach our creative writing poetry classes.
Now, how big are the creative writing classes?
They're small.
Are they small?
Yeah. This semester, I'm really lucky. We have pretty small caps on the creative writing classes. So, I mean, there are 15 people each this semester. So some of our intro classes are bigger, around 20, but our upper level classes stay pretty small.
And is that a good amount of young people to work with?
Yeah.
I say young people, but I guess it could be anybody. Yeah.
I have all kinds of people in my classes. I love them. I think I have a really good mix of students. That's one of the best things about Austin P is our students. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess the people that are in there, it's not like high school. They want to be in there.
Oh, and creative writing classes, even in high school, I think people want to be there, right?
Right.
Like nobody takes creative writing because they have to. They go, I have to write a poem. Fine.
When did you, what was the catalyst that got you started in writing? Like, how young were you when you realized that's what you wanted to do?
I wish I had like this really great story about this.
You can make one up.
I can make one up.
Yeah, you're a writer. Go ahead.
Well, when I was on my vision quest, when I was 20 years old in the desert of the Southwest.
I'm glad you threw a desert in there. That's great.
Desert.
It's a vision quest. You need a desert for a vision quest. No, I actually have always been really good at my English classes. And
You were a teacher's pet?
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
But I wish, so I'd like to tell students I advise this, to take classes outside of their comfort zone, because I wish I had taken more classes outside of my comfort zone, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm really interested in now that I wish I had taken classes in college. Focused on these interests. So I was really good at my English classes, and I sort of excelled at it. And then I started writing, and I realized, wow, I really like this, and I'm kind of good at it, and I kept going with it. And it was a challenge that I felt like was accessible to me in some way. But then as I got older, I guess the cool part of this is that even though my interests changed, I realized writing was a way to keep exploring these other interests. So I never took a forestry class when I was an undergraduate, but now I can read all I want about forestry. And if I want to write an article about the history of the Forest Service or something like that, I can, right? That's one of the exciting things about writing. So I don't have I've been writing poems since I was born story. I just have I'm interested in a lot of different things, and writing to me is that avenue to exploring all of those different things.
Yeah, and I guess you can probably always go back and take some more classes too, right?
I could, yeah. Or I can, like do my job.
Teach yourself.
Teach myself.
And
write
go to the
about
woods.
it.
You can just go to the woods and hang out.
Yeah.
And have your vision.
Right? And I have like a reason to do it, because I can say I'm a writer. So and people will talk to me if I want to interview them, because I can say I'm a writer.
That gives you an excuse to be a little nuts too, doesn't it?
Yeah,
sometimes?
a little bit.
Yeah.
I can be eccentric. Like when I do weird things, people are like, "Oh, it's just because she's a writer."
Yeah, she's one of those.
Right.
Or the opposite. Like when I'm very organized, and so like, "Wow, you're really organized for a writer." Yeah,
because writers aren't organized.
So, if you had a choice between maybe writing professionally, where you actually made a good living at it, or teaching, what would you pick?
I laugh because since I write poems mostly, I write nonfiction also, but since I write poems mostly, I think Stephanie Brian Anderson said this earlier today. Like it's sort of funny to think of a poet being able to write poems full time and live off of that. But if I could, I think I would still like to teach. Actually,
Sure.
like if that was an option, I think I would still like to work at a university. I really, really enjoy working at a university. I like working with students. I feel like I'm more creative when I'm getting to work with other people being creative. I feel like I'm a bigger part of our literary community when I'm getting to work with other people being creative too. I've met more people through working for the university. I mean, I met Stephanie when I moved to Clarksville because I was working at the university. I met you guys, right? Like,
Right.
It's just it makes me feel like I'm a bigger part of the community, and I feel like I would be doing community workshops and finding ways to still be active in teaching, even if I was, able to actually live off of just writing.
Yeah, yeah. So. And I'm sure it's sort of a give and take when you teach, too, because I'm sure you not only inspire the students, but they inspire you as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think I might be inspired by them more than they are by me.
You think so? Do you tell them that, or is that your secret?
Oh, it's a secret that I just said on the radio.
Right, so they know now.
Right. No, I think they know it. I mean, I like to assign books that I haven't necessarily read each semester. This semester, we're doing a Journal of the Month program. It's this really awesome program. I don't know if you've heard of it. So literary magazines, there are tons of them. And it can be really hard to decide which ones to subscribe to. So Journal of the Month, they have, I want to say it's like 12 to 20 or 25 different literary magazines you subscribe. You, instead of getting the same journal every quarter or twice a year, you receive a different journal each
that's cool.
month.
Yeah.
Right? And so you get exposed to a variety of different magazines. You can support literary magazines without committing to just a single literary magazine. So we're using that in my class this semester, in my poetry class. And I think I'm learning maybe even more from that than they are right now. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah.
And it keeps it interesting, right?
It does, definitely.
Yeah. Now, how often do you get a chance to actually sit down and work on your craft with you teaching and going to Alaska a couple times a year? I mean, is it hard just to sit down and write?
I write as much as I can. I wish I could say that I was one of those writers that had this really great schedule, and I always tell people, you need a schedule for your writing. But I read something this morning, actually, and it was about forgiving yourself for not having a schedule, and I feel very empowered to admit right now that I don't have a schedule, but I write as much as I can whenever I can. I tend to have like days where I'll write a ton, or projects that I'm really excited about, and then not write for a little while because other stuff takes precedence.
What's your season? Like summer?
My season.
Yeah, like summer is terrible for me. Like I cannot write anything in the summer. It's like, I don't understand why. But
that's a good question. And I like how you phrase that too, because I also don't do a ton over the summer. I really do well in the fall and the spring. Like wintertime, not very well. Summer, not very well. There's just too much other stuff going on. But in the fall, I'm energized. The semester just started. Everything hasn't ramped up yet, so I get a lot done in the fall. And then in the spring, I get a lot done too.
Well, it's probably important as a writer to actually make it a point to step away from it from time to time. So when you come back, you're refreshed.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's with anything, with any sort of creative, even with work, you got to take vacations.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. It helps you regain perspective, I think.
So poetry, you said you write some fiction. Like, do you have any fiction published, or? I
have one short story published. I don't write fiction that much. I have a hard time finishing fiction. I think a lot of poets say that. But then there are people who are triple threats who write all three, right, really well. I do write nonfiction, though. I really enjoy nonfiction, and I have a bunch of essays published.
Oh, that's
some
cool.
Bigger projects I'm working on.
Yeah. What's your favorite stuff to read?
What do I like to read? During the summertime, I read all of my sort of like brain resting books, right? So I read John Lindqvist's vampire novel at the
So
right
you're into vampires? Yeah.
Vampires.
No, this is not like Twilight vampires, okay?
So
this
you
is
automatically
like,
got defensive. When it's not Twilight, okay?
No.
There's
Stop.
a big difference,
not
right?
those vampires.
Okay.
All right. These are,
Okay.
this is, yeah.
It's all like legit.
Do they sparkle, or do they just like...
They don't sparkle.
explode?
They're
Cool.
actually, this vampire's terrifying. There's a movie based on
like
this one. It's on Netflix.
underworld
movie?
type vampires?
Let the Right One In.
I don't know if I've even heard of that. Is it like a One of those foreign flicks?
Yes.
What the right
That's
movie?
what I figured. Yeah.
It is. It is scary. So,
I kind of want to see it now.
yeah, you will be scared. It's good. But during the school year, I actually read my serious literature. And I am reading my friend Cole. Her book actually came out in the spring. It's called Head Case. It is a nonfiction memoir.
What a great title. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Head
It's
case.
really good. Nonfiction memoir. She was born with a hole in her brain. And so it is about her experiences with that. So,
And this is a true story.
yes. Yeah.
Oh,
She's
wow.
a friend of mine, went to my master's program with her. Really funny, really smart book. So,
Oh, and it's called Head Case.
Head Case, yes.
Yeah. Where can you get it?
Barnes and Noble, Amazon. It's like she has an agent kind
Right.
of
Oh,
nonfiction.
she's one of those.
she's
Right.
one of
An agent.
she's one of those writers.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could just Google her and it'll come up. There are numerous links to buy her book.
Now, if people want to buy a copy of The Pine Effect, where do they go?
Well, you can go to Red Paint Hill Publishing, or you can go to my website, andreaspofford.com, and there's a link there as well.
Gotcha. And do you autograph everything? Or can you?
I can-ish. Since my publisher is here, I have been trying to sign most of the books before they go out. So
Okay.
yeah.
I
I
gotta
can't
have
promise,
mine signed. Yeah,
but
right.
but I do the best I can. Right.
Okay. Do you ever get to go to book signings or anything like that? I mean, anything local?
I have a reading in Mississippi next weekend. On Friday, I'm giving a reading at the University of Southern Mississippi. I try to do readings somewhat. I haven't done a ton local. I did one last year at Austin Peay State University. I try to set them up. So if anybody would like to contact me for a reading, I would love to do a reading.
Yeah.
So I should have more coming up this fall and in the spring for sure.
Well, you're welcome anytime on the show if you want to do
Yeah,
something.
you can always come and do a reading.
Yeah,
Like,
you can come and do a
pop in
reading.
poetry.
Or if you want to just stay home one day and Skype in, you can stay in your jammies.
Yeah,
and read.
that would be
There you go.
nice.
Yeah.
Pajama poetry.
So that could
I-
be a,
right?
an
Pajama
idea.
poetry.
I know.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's just had an epiphany.
Yeah.
Work on something.
Right here.
So what are you going to read for us today?
All right. Well, I am going to read a poem about snake plants or
Ooh.
mother-in-law's.
What the hell's a snake plant?
Snake plant, they are those plants. You've probably seen them. They're also called mother-in-law's tongues. They're the tall, like, skinny plants. They are in places with not a lot of light.
So they're comparing snakes to mother-in-laws.
That's exactly what I was
Yes,
thinking.
basically. Yeah. It's also called St. George's sword sometimes.
Okay.
But they're really good.
So are you a botanist on the side?
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I
Yeah.
can be whatever I want to be,
Right,
right? So I
right.
can say, yes, I'm a botanist. Today, when I wrote this poem, I was botanist. All right, so this is a weed in Australia. Snake plant, mother-in-law's tongue, named for the sharp evergreenness of leaves, variegated by strands of yellow as strong as hemp, as tight as bowstrings. It flowers. Family Asparagaceae, though not what it sounds like, you have never seen one in the wild, but mother-in-laws grow them in living rooms because they are hard to kill. Sharp as St. George's sword, they exchange for oxygen at an alarming rate, reaching from partial light as if the sun shone on them fully.
Beautiful. I'm glad you gave
Yeah.
us the insight, too, before you read it. So I was like, oh, that's what okay, I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to explain things to me.
Yeah,
couple
he gets
times.
confused easy.
I do. But I like the good descriptive stuff. I could it paints a picture in my mind.
Yeah.
And that's what
you
you're
can
that's what
kind
you're
of
doing.
See
Yeah.
a snake plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And appreciate them for more
Absolutely.
than just a joke
Do they
about
smell good?
mother-in-laws. They don't really smell at all.
Yeah.
But they do filter toxins from the air really, really well. So you should have
Yeah.
them in
So
your
it's very useful.
bedroom, in your living room, like all over your house.
Any place you might have toxins running rampant.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Just yeah. You
can breathe
when
better.
you're riddled with toxins.
Yes.
You just want to have.
Just make them go away.
Right. Definitely.
So when you're on vacation and taking time off, do you tend to write too? Is
Yes.
that part of a vacation for you?
Yeah. All of my trips, they end up being really productive and taking notes, and it kind of helps refresh me, I think.
What do you do for fun, like when you're not writing? Let's just say, take that out of the equation. You go out and get drunk and sing karaoke with girls, or what?
No, I am terrified of karaoke. Like, even those
You want to sing for us right now?
No.
We can.
Nope,
No? Okay.
No.
Okay. I was just asking.
Even those home karaoke machines, like people will set up in their living rooms or something, like, Andrea, sing a song. And it's like my family. And I just.
That's
never,
really weird.
I know,
That's your
that is
family.
Never happening.
You're just not musically inclined at all?
No.
Yeah, I'm not
well,
either.
actually, I can read music.
Yeah?
And I play numerous instruments.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
That's cool.
But I am not a singer. I like to stay far away from
Do you sing in the
that.
shower?
No.
Or the car?
I sing in the car.
Yeah. What do you sing in the car when you're singing?
Whatever's on the radio.
Whatever.
That I know the words to.
Yeah.
Right.
You sing
Or
Barbie,
if I don't
Barbie
know the
Girl
words.
and stuff like that? Or
If you
I'm
know,
a
Baby Got
Barbie
Back?
girl.
if
Baby
it
Got
came
Back?
on,
Yeah.
right? I might. Yeah.
Yeah, we heard Baby Got Back yesterday. We were singing that. That was kind of fun. Yeah. You can sing some now if you want.
I was just about to, and then I was like,
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
wrong song.
Yeah, it's not. But we were talking about that too. So you're okay. You're good. Just different song.
No, thank you. There's like cameras. Like, I'm just gonna put my
I
head
really
up
admire.
here.
I admire you
And
guys for
hide.
being able to write and put these these books together. With your thoughts and your feelings in there, and the musicians we have on the show. I mean, I can't go there. In my mind, and I don't know. I just can't do it. And I say I can't, but I probably, I might be able to if I.
Should take a creative writing class.
There
I
you
could.
go.
I could.
You could.
I
You could take a
yeah.
creative writing class.
And
Take
you could
a
teach
class,
me.
bro.
Would you have patience with me?
Yeah, I have a lot of patience.
Yeah. I mean,
You
like
need
a
a lot of
patience.
patience.
Yeah, I have a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot.
She's second guessing what she just said now.
No,
I know that
do.
look. I know
do.
that look.
I'm just thinking of examples of patience in action.
Now, how long have you been teaching?
I have been teaching for, I've been the instructor of record, I guess, like the person in charge of grades for about 9 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is there ever a time in your life where you're like, man, why did I pick teaching? Or is it something that you just love doing?
I worked at a high school for a little while. I was considered a long-term substitute, so I took over an English classroom for 9th and 10th graders. And at that point, I did question, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And it was more like, I think if I had not been considered a long-term sub, it would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
The principal kind of, killed me from the beginning by saying, this is Andrea Spofford, and she is your substitute. When really I was there like the whole year, right? So you say that, and suddenly nobody cares at all.
Yeah.
But that was the point where I was kind of questioning. But I never questioned whether or not I want to work at a university. And I think a high school would be fine too if it was my classroom. But.
Well, it's kind of cool, I guess, your schedule. You get the summers off and extra time for holidays
Summers
and
to
stuff.
do other work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody wants to be in class, and there's just something about that first day at a university that I just love it. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
So never second guess that ever.
Okay, so you're in the right place at the right time doing what you love.
Yes, yeah, that's
Boom.
right.
Like a boss.
Winning.
Superhero power, what would you pick?
I've been practicing.
See,
this
I know.
question,
See, you
right?
got the heads up. See,
I
she had the
did.
advantage over you.
I know. See, and we were talking about this.
I
because
should have
was
made her
like,
plug her ears.
Well, what I was saying is that I am going to practice my answer, right? I'm going to be
See, I
thinking
knew-
about this
I
all
knew
day.
she was gonna be doing
and
that.
then I'm going to get up here and you're going to be like, so if you could be anyone in history, right? Like some question
be
totally
anyone?
different.
You could be
No,
anyone.
I already asked me
Okay.
superhero, right?
Okay.
But then you asked Lydia the same question. So I was like, yes, okay, I know it's coming. I would like to be super strong, actually.
Super strong?
Yes, like if I could be She-Hulk.
Yeah?
And
Would you be green too?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's
like
kinda
I would
cool.
just be like She-Hulk mad. I would love that so much.
You,
Right?
you probably couldn't write literature while you're
No,
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk smash. It would be so great. It would be so effective in meetings.
So we could have used you
too.
moving, I guess, when we moved. Smash it through the door.
She-Hulk not gentle.
So I guess you know the other question.
Yes.
Good question. So
Who would I hang out with?
anybody throughout history, living or dead, we can bring them back to life for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Who would it be?
All right, so I have been thinking about this one, and I have a lot of answers for this one. So I'm going to go 1 through 100 and list out. I'm just kidding. 40 minutes later. Okay, so I feel like this is a little bit cheesy, but I love Civil War history, and I would love to talk to Abraham Lincoln.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Out of all of the historical presidents, I would say I find Abraham Lincoln to be incredibly interesting.
Is it his rugged good looks, or he's an interesting guy?
Interesting guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you know the story about his beard?
The story about his beard. I don't know.
Yeah, because this little girl, because he didn't used to have a beard,
Uh-huh.
and this little girl wrote him a letter and said that he would look better with a beard, so he grew a beard.
Wow.
Yeah. I wonder, is that true?
It is true.
You
It's
think
true.
so?
That's
Okay.
really interesting.
Okay.
He does look better with a beard.
I
He really
think
does.
so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little girl was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, little did he know at the time he was going to be on the penny and the $5 bill.
With his beard.
Right,
his
with
beard.
his beard.
Yeah.
I wonder if she mentioned the top hat too.
I think he always had the top
You should
hat.
wear a top hat. That could be your thing.
It could be.
Like you could.
I don't really have a
is your
thing
picture
like
on the
that.
back of the book?
No, I did not put my picture on my book.
You
Actually, we
should,
talked
with the
about
top
that.
hat.
I should have if we
Yeah.
had thought of that, you know.
Right.
No, I did not put my picture in the book. I actually asked Stephanie to take it off.
Oh, you had it on there, but then you
It
took
was
it off.
on there, yeah.
Oh, stop being a wuss. What,
Well, I mean, my picture's all over everything
Yeah.
else.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
Send out
So you don't wanna
promotional
overdo it.
materials. My picture's all over it. I had these folders that I was sending out when the book first came out, and it's just like, boom, Andrea's face. Right. Then my brother-in-law said that the cover looked like a horror movie cover, and I can't stop thinking that. So
it kind
was
of
like,
does.
I
Yeah.
like it though. It's a nice kind of horror. It's
Yeah.
like
yeah, it's like, oh, what's
A
happening
nice
in
kind
this
of
book?
horror.
But
That
then
doesn't
it-
make any sense.
no. There is a nice kind of horror, and then there's a not so nice kind of horror.
yeah,
Okay.
If it's not happening to you, it's
There's just different parts of horror that are fun and scary, and then there's different parts that you're like, why is this even around?
Right.
so this is like Cabin in the Woods kind of.
This is good. This
Okay.
is good.
But then my face is like all over this stuff too, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, oh, horror. Oh, my face.
Are you totally happy with the book, or is there anything that at this point that you'd go in and take out?
You know, I have a really hard time with letting stuff go and not editing. So I really enjoy editing a lot. I enjoy editing more than I enjoy writing things from scratch, actually. So
Really?
the first
Okay.
draft is like the most painful draft.
So would
for
you
me.
like to be an editor to a big magazine? Would that make you?
I actually
make
work
your
for a
life?
magazine. I work for Zone 3 magazine.
Okay.
I'm the poetry editor. Zone 3 is housed at Austin Peay State University. We're an
Okay.
international literary magazine.
That's something else you do.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You can find us online.
What time do you go to bed at night? Like 3 and then get up at 4?
I go to bed really early and I get up really early.
Yeah? You're one of
Yeah.
those?
early to bed and early to rise makes you
How
healthy,
early
wealthy, and
is
wise.
early? Like what time?
Oh, like at 9:30, I'm tired.
That's not as
something
bad as
like
I was
that.
thinking.
No, I don't
mean,
go to bed at like
yeah.
7. But there have been days when it's 8:30 and I'm like, oh man, I'm not like a 5-year-old, but
Yeah.
I'm ready to call this day right now. Because I'm just more productive in the morning. Like
Yeah.
I get up at about 6, and I also have 3 dogs. I have an
Yeah.
entire kennel, basically.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
And they get up early and
Walk
then-
the dogs and
Yeah, let them out, feed them, do their thing before I go to work. So
What time do you have to be at work?
Oh, I don't teach until the afternoons, but we have terrible parking this semester, so I'm there by 8.
So you get there
8:30.
like 3 hours early, so you can find a good parking spot.
Yeah, I don't teach until 2:30 Sundays, but I'm there at 8.
That's kind of crazy.
What do
I
you
know.
do?
You might have a problem.
Well, I have office hours. I have office hours as part of my job.
might have issues.
And then I also work on my writing, too.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
so I
you
don't
come to
do-
Austin Peay and you work on your
Yeah.
stuff, and that makes sense.
I do my grading at work. I like to leave work at work, so I try to be there, get it done, and take home
So you
as
probably
little
leave
as I
early,
can.
and then you come in early the next
Yeah.
day and do what you didn't do the day before.
Yep.
Well, that makes
There
sense.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it now. See, at first you seemed a little weird.
Yeah, no, I'm weird, too, but...
Now, what else are you going to read for us?
I'm going to read a new poem, actually. This is from Burnt District. It's a literary magazine. Stephanie's actually in this one, too.
Oh,
I feel like we're codependent on each other.
are you guys like besties?
We are on our way to being besties.
Yeah, are you? Okay.
But I'm going to read a poem from this one. This is from a new project that I'm working on. It deals with the idea of semantics and language and sort of what language can do and what it can't do. So this one is called Limitations.
Okay.
The certain betweenness of language, the place I overlaps you, is also movement, a gallop of wild horses, foundational bloodstock, an interlingua pivot, allowing us to translate between sets of experience, mine and those of someone else, feral and wild and domesticated. There is elegance in this movement, the long bones shifting metronomical within the knees. To study this meaning is to study language, a system of communication created by birds and mammals as they graze across fields, blades of grass bent beneath hooves.
See, you guys are so cool. Do writers usually get called
You're
cool?
cute. You are cool.
Is that something you hear all the time?
I think that like writer is one of those things that's really cool for people to have in movies, right? But in reality,
in the real world, no?
like no.
No?
No. In movies, writers are always like, they have like cute glasses and their hair is always really cute and they're like tortured and but in real life we're not that cool.
Who's your favorite fictional writer?
My favorite fiction?
Like in a movie.
Wait, it's not cool to be
No,
tortured?
not writer of fiction. Not writer, but
Okay.
fictional writer like in a movie.
Oh, my favorite like representation of a writer.
Yes.
I don't know. I try not to watch movies with writers because I get so frustrated. There was this movie called, I think it's called Art School. It came out like 10 years ago now or something like that, but it was so meta and so referential. I went to an art school and it was just like too close. I was like, no, that's painful. I know those people. Like,
How about
why are we glorifying this?
How about Misery, where the guy does
We
get
watched that
captured
just the other day.
Yeah.
and tortured?
There's my favorite writer.
You ever notice
right?
Stephen King, all of his characters have like, it's the same premise. Like in The Shining and in Misery,
They're
he
all
writes
a
about
writer.
writers and...
Oh, well, that would
You
be my
know.
favorite Johnny.
Yeah.
I'll work in no play makes Johnny a dull boy.
That was an exciting movie.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
feel as a writer sometimes. I'm like, oh, work and no play makes Andrea a dull
I'm
girl.
not going to hang out with
I've written that before. Like, and then copy paste, and then like really.
never be alone with Andrea.
Right, especially not in the winter at the Overlook Hotel.
Right. She starts
You want
typing,
to
get the
come
hell
on
out
vacation with
Red
me?
rum, red rum.
Well, it's been so much fun having you on the show today.
Yeah, this has been
Now,
awesome.
is there-
I'm really
is there-
excited to meet you guys.
Anything we missed that you want to make sure we bring up, or did we pretty much hit everything?
I think you pretty much hit everything. You can buy my book at Red Paint Hill Publishing or on my website, Andrea Spofford.
RedPaintHillPublishing.com.
Yes. Yep.
And they can go there and they
Publishing.
can order that. And then where else?
AndreaSpofford.com.
Andrea Spofford. It's Spofford.
Yes, and I won't
Okay.
spell it phonetically. I have words
Gotcha.
that go with every letter.
Okay. So, and they can go there and buy the book. And then
Yes.
where's the easiest place to get it autographed if they buy it?
They can just make a note.
Okay,
in
so either
the
place they
comments.
order it
Yeah,
from.
either
Okay.
place. They'll have the opportunity to make a comment or make a note, and then I can sign it. Like I said, I've been trying to sign them anyway, so as long as I have enough time to do so, and I'm in town now, so should be able to sign it. Yeah.
So if somebody like sees you like getting out of your car at Austin P, they hey, will you sign my book?
I would love that.
Yeah,
that'd be so
kinda
great.
cool.
Most people are like, wait, you read a book? Like, what do you do here?
And then it's like,
We have creative writing classes? What? What? Yeah.
Well, good, and I sure admire you though for teaching that stuff and inspiring people. That's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So,
indeed.
hats off to you.
Well,
for
thank
sure.
you.
Yeah. Is it my turn or
It
your
is
turn?
my turn,
Oh, wait,
boy.
thank you for having me.
Oh, well, you're
Oh,
very
wait,
welcome.
where you go? You're like,
Anytime.
bye.
You guys are in the circle. So
is
anytime
good.
there's anything that's exciting to talk about,
Nice.
just shoot us a text and we can be like, we can talk about it on the show, or we can get you back on the show. We can do whatever.
Yeah, cool.
So we got
Boom.
your back.
Boom.
We're all tight now. We're like
We
Twitter buddies
tight.
for life.
We are.
Yeah, we got
Twitter
it.
buddies for life.
Okay, so you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you for listening to the Chris Talk program, and until we broadcast again, please remember this. Life is good, and we're gone.
Magnolia Emporium, located in historic South End in Charlotte's Gold District, right next to historic Wilmore neighborhood. Home decor,
Home decor,
interior design,
interior design,
residential and hospitality open to the trade. 307 Lincoln Street in the dark gray building, right behind Unknown Brewery and Craft Growler Shop. Magnolia Emporium.
listening to what a client wants, whether spoken or unspoken.
We want your space to reflect your success.
Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
You can either talk in the